Now we're going to do Dcad Lesson 6, which essentially is going to involve some cleanup of the floor plan. So in order to do that, first and foremost, we want to zoom up on the floor plan, hit Z for zoom, get a little closer to it. And bottom line is we want all these exterior wall lines to be the same lines. And these are, as I zoom up on them, you can see that they're very thin lines. So what I'm going to do is make these lines all heavier lines that I normally use for my floor plan wall lines. So we can either select them individually. We have these little bitty lines here, you know, where the doors are located and stuff too, and combine them if you want, or you can just select them individually, like select this little door place here and hold down shift, because that allows for multiple selections. That one, that line, that line, that line. You know, it's kind of tedious doing it that way. So I'm going to hit escape. An easier way, because these are all in layer one, is just to go to layers, L for layers, and go and the first layer is already selected. Right click on that highlighted layer and go scroll down. It says select highlighted layers. So we left click on that, click OK, and you can see that all those layers are selected. Uh-oh, looks like the window's in the wrong layer. So that should have been in layer 3. So let me escape and select the window, both the floor plan window and elevation window, call up the info box, and move that to layer 3. And OK, now get this info box out of the way, and then Control W. And now we're going to try selecting layer 1 again. So we're going to go to layers. 1 is highlighted. I'm going to right click and go down to select highlighted layers, select OK, and you can see that just the floor plan is selected now. I'm going to zoom up more closely so we can see for sure. Yep, looks like it's all the floor plan lines are selected. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use a very powerful command. I'm going to zoom up in this line area over here, Z for zoom, and kind of zoom up on that area. And you can see there's all kinds of different lines, and I can zoom up a little closer. You can read what they say. Floor plan existing walls, that's for like remodels. Floor plan new walls. Now these are new walls, so this is the line type we want. So I'm going to zoom up closer so we can see it more closely. And you can see that floor plan new walls is a fairly heavy line. So I'm going to use the info box, and I'm going to use the same as the little finger there. Click on that, and because all of our floor plan lines are already selected, I'm going to click go over here next to floor plan new walls, get my finger on it, and left click. Okay, now I'm going to Control W to zoom out and zoom up on those walls to see if they changed. And look at that. So now those walls are the proper line thickness. We want them to stand out on the drawing. So that basically cleaned up those walls. I'm going to zoom out a little further here, and I'm just using my scroll wheel, holding down Control and using my scroll wheel to do that. And so now I want to dimension this thing. We're just going to do cleanup on the floor plan. So to dimension it, I'm going to change layers. I want to go to layers, L, and then on line 2 is text for the main floor, text M. So I'm going to click that twice. So now new things will be drawn in that layer. Okay, so now essentially we're ready to go for text. So if I hit the @ sign, which is Shift 2, you can see that the dimension box pops up and automatic dimensioning is selected. So I'm just going to right click near this corner and watch it snap to it. And now I'm going to right click next to this corner, and you can see we have our 24-foot dimension right there, and it's automatic. I'm just going to take it out a little bit and then left click, and it'll put it in there. Okay, now I'm going to do the depth of the garage. So I'm going to hit the @ sign again, which is Shift 2, and do an additional dimension. Right click and snap, and pull it out a little ways. about like so, and then set another point, and I have that dimension. Now, I want to have a dimension to the hinge side of the door, so I'm just going to come down here and just K, which will snap me to a line, even a dimension line. So I'm going to hit start the dimensioning. So I'm going to hit Shift and the @ sign, and then hit K here to snap to that line, K, and then I'm going to go to the hinge side of the rough opening of the door and right-click to snap to that, and I'm going to pull that up, about like so. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to zoom up so we can see what that dimension actually is. It's 9'5" from the corner to the hinge side of that door for layout. I'm going to hit Control M. That'll take me to my previous zoom position. Now here for this window, I'm just going to do a center line. And so the easiest way to do that is just hit Vector and Control K on the outside of the window there, Control K, and just hit H so it'll be orthogonal, and pull it out a little ways like so, and then so we have 2 points set. You can see we have 2 points set, and then I'm going to hit the scroll button on my mouse to create the line. I'm going to select that line. I'm going to move this attribute out of the way. I'll probably hide those at some point here. I'm going to zoom up on the window area, select this line by left clicking next to it. Now I'm going to use the line extension command, which is basically the Shift and Dash key, and click on the line and pull it down just a little bit further like so. I want it to extend through the window. Now that's just a line, just a solid line, but I want to change that line to a center line. So in order to do that, I'm pulling up the info box, and here you can see types of lines in here. Here's solid. I'm going to click on that arrow, and I'm going to go down to center. And then if I hit enter, you can see that that's turned it into a center line. Its scale is 2, so that means it's doing its scale sequence on 2 foot on center, and that's our center line. Now that's a little bit long out here, so I'm going to hit Shift Dash, which basically gives me the opportunity to change the endpoint of this line to stretch or shorten the line, lengthen or shorten the line, and pull it back a little bit to there. So that's a pretty decent center line. So now I'm going to hit Control W to zoom out and hit Escape, so it's no longer selected. And I'm going to zoom up to that area of the garage, and I'll basically dimension that from this corner also. So dimension is Shift and the @ sign, and I'm going to this corner, and now I'm going to go to the center point of the window there and pull it out just a little bit further, and lo and behold, half of 22 is 11 feet. So that's window is now centered. Now normally we would either probably center both from corner to the start of the garage door, and we can do that real easily by using the dimension line again, that Shift @ and we'll right click, get close to it and right click to the corner, then right click to this point and pull it down a little bit, and that's 4 feet. And we'll do the same thing, but rather than going through all, let's just duplicate that dimension. We'll set a handle on the dimension and just use the same dimension over again. So I'm setting selection handle right here. I want it on that point, and then I'm going to hit N for duplicate and just do the same thing over here, and then hit Escape. And so now we have our garage dimensioned. I'm going to go ahead and use this text that comes with the border, and I'm just going to grab it, select it, hit M for move, and put it up here. And you can see it's in multiple layers. So what I want to do is I want to put all those in layer 2. So I'm going to click here on the layer portion of it and scroll down and put the whole enchilada in layer 2. So now you can see those various components are all in layer 2. And so our garage floor plan is essentially dimensioned and cleaned up. So that's it for lesson 6.